Yes, very aware. We offer a market at 888 Sport on the next championship manager to lose his job. And Philip Cocu has been favourite for that for quite some time. He was 8-11 favourite before last night's games, and with Wednesday winning, the pressure grows on him. But Derby County favourites for this, 6-5 to win the match. The draw is 11-5. QPR are 12-5. Both of these teams sit just outside the relegation zone and relegation betting. We go 4-1 Derby to be relegated, and QPR slightly bigger at 9-2 to go down. So this game will have an impact on the relegation betting as well, Russ.
Yeah, it certainly will. Sandro, good to speak to you. Speak to you again in lockdown, my friend. Those were the very latest odds with 888 Sport. Play responsibly. 18 and over. BeGambleAware.org.
Football Form Focus on TalkSport 2 with 888 Sport. Call 8 results from 8 games and win £8,000 in our free weekly football predictor. Up for 8. Fall short and we'll still give you a £1 free bet for each correct pick. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
That was Sandro Di Michele. Jim Proudfoot and Alvin Martin are about to take you through Istanbul, BASAKSEHIR against Manchester United in the Champions League kick-off in 4 minutes from now. Jim, are there going to be any fans in the stadium tonight, by the way?
It doesn't look as though there are.
Okay.
Obviously, the UEFA regulations are that it all depends on local governing rules as to whether they are allowed to sell the 30% worth of tickets. That's why we've seen some games with fans in, but no, not tonight in Istanbul.
Okay. And Alvin, after the defeat at home to Arsenal at the weekend, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said his players didn't even turn up. In the Champions League, they have been turning up. He's got to hope that they can do it again tonight, and it would be the perfect tonic, because that was a disappointing result, wasn't it?
Well, there's no doubt about it. This is a perfect game if you're looking at a bounce-back opportunity for Manchester United, Russ. So, yeah, I think the same rule applies in every game, no matter what level you are. If you're a better team than the opposition, that won't count for anything if you've got a bad attitude, if you expect it to be easy, if you come into it complacent. So they need to start off really quickly. They need to be ultra-competitive and get themselves in the driving seat in terms of controlling this game. Otherwise, this team is in the Champions League. You know, the opposition are a Champions League team. If you aren't at it, you're going to pay the price for us. And, you know, I've got no doubt about it, that they've got ability and they will have good phases of possession. But it's really about Man United doing their job. If they do their job tonight, then they can have a handsome victory here.
BASAKSEHIR will have their moments in this game. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will hope it's not too many, and United have many, many more. The Reds away in the Champions League, live here on TalkSport 2. And your match commentary team, Alvin Martin and Jim Proudfoot.
Thank you, Russ. On the road to Istanbul, an early stop in Istanbul. Whilst Manchester United's season could hardly have provided more of a mixed bag, their Champions League campaign could effectively be parked to one side if they're victorious this evening, with standout wins against PSG and RB Leipzig under their belts. They now face the two games that are, on paper at least, the easiest. Win tonight, and United will be on 9 points from 3 matches, and never in the history of the competition has a side failed to get out of the group from there. Tonight, though, they face the Turkish champions in this competition for the first time after their fairy tale rise. They were only founded 30 years ago, and last season split the dominance of Istanbul's Big Three for the first time, becoming only the 6th club ever to win the league, and only the 2nd outside of Fenerbahce, Beşiktaş and Galatasaray to be champions in the last 35 years. The goals of Robinho were integral to that, but the former Manchester City striker has now departed and returned to his native Brazil. But it was that spawned this Champions League adventure. And while BASAKSEHIR have been beaten in their 2 matches up to this point, they have been prepared to take the game to both opponents. That's a tactic that could favour United conceivably, with their counter-attacking ability and superb away record. But were the Owls to win this evening, it would be the single biggest victory in the club's history. Well, this is how Manchester United line up, with Dean Henderson in goal, making his Champions League debut. Wan-Bissaka, Tuanzebe, Maguire and Shaw, the back four. In midfield, Nemanja Matic, probably a diamond, with Mata and Bruno Fernandes and Van der Beek, and then Martial and Rashford up front. But obviously, the opportunity potentially for a 4-2-3-1, with Matic and Van der Beek, and then Mata, Bruno Fernandes and Rashford in behind Anthony Martial. BASAKSEHIR, Gunok in goal, Rafael Skrtel, Eprianu and Bolingoli. And then Özcan anchors the midfield. Visha, Kaveci, Alexic and Turuc, and then Demba Ba is up front. The referee tonight is Davide Massa from Italy. And BASAKSEHIR playing in their fluorescent orange with purple trim, and Manchester United in the pick of this season's kits for Champions League football in the zebra kit, which, it has to be said, would not necessarily be top of my shopping list if I was a Manchester United fan, but never mind. Predominantly white with the black diagonal markings on the front of the shirt. The Italian referee just waiting for the signal to get the game underway. It will be Manchester United who will have the kickoff, kicking from left to right in this first half. BASAKSEHIR have won each of their last 3 league games, but beaten in both of their Champions League encounters so far. Can Manchester United make it 3 out of 3 and maintain their perfect record to the halfway stage of the competition? We are underway with United in early possession, and Van der Beek lining up alongside Matic in the heart of midfield in what looks like being a 4-2-3-1 formation, and an opportunity for Maguire to play the ball out from the back, and it's a throw as it comes off Visha, which will be taken by Luke Shaw for United on the left-hand touchline. So the opening minute, we've got the whole game live for you on TalkSport 2. Alvin Martin alongside me, watching from our monitors in London as the game is being played in driving rain in Istanbul. Kabachi doing well to win it back in midfield, plays it back for the Moldovan Epereanu. He goes back for his goalkeeper, who just takes a touch and then nonchalantly chips the ball out to the right hand side for Gunok. Appeals for handball. Visha far from happy that the free kick wasn't given, and Rashford can bring it forward here for Manchester United, and he's unlucky that as the ball comes out of play off the defender, goes just the wrong side of the corner flag for him for a throw, and not a corner as it deflected off Martin Skirtle. 0-0 here on TalkSport 2. Alongside me, Alvin Martin.
Well, BASAKSEHIR are going to press. They're going to play as high up the pitch as they can. There's an example of it there. They lost possession. A foul wasn't given, and they had a great position there with Rashford on that left-hand side, and he just pushed it out in front of him too far and gave the defender a chance to make the challenge. One of the doubts I've still got about Manchester United, they've got individuals that can score. There's certainly an X factor to their play, which they haven't had for a while. It's been able to get out of a press, take the chance of playing in tight situations, and also pressing themselves. I think they've still got to polish both of them aspects up.
Matic laying the ball out to the left-hand side for Maguire, who just misdirected his ball forward, and Raphael's able to drop back and win it back. And he finds Martin Skirtle, who's got hair these days. He plays it out towards the right-hand touchline for Özcan. And it deflects through the midfield into the centre circle, where BASAKSEHIR can win it back and work it out to the left back, Bolingoli, who played in Bruges' 7-0 aggregate defeat to Manchester United in the Champions League qualifying a few years back. More known for his time at Celtic. Forward he goes from Raphael. Here's the captain, Visha, who was involved in 25 goals or so in the Turkish club's rise to the championship last season. Rashford just dropping deep in the midfield, chesting the ball down. Bruno Fernandes will be able to make his way forward. Skirtle gets back goal side. It's fired over the top for the run of Rashford, bustling after it. They're going shoulder to shoulder with Bolingoli, and he's unlucky that it's gone out of play for a throw to BASAKSEHIR down by their own corner flag in the left back position. 3 minutes gone on TalkSport 2, and it's 0-0.
Well, they got Fernandes on the ball, left-hand side, over the halfway line, and the break was on. You can see as soon as he's got the ball at his feet, Fernandes, Rashford does come alive, because he is the player that will see the pass, that will play the right pass into the right area at the right time, and just inches away from getting that one right.
BASAKSEHIR's only previous meeting with English opposition was a couple of years ago. They lost 1-0 on aggregate to Burnley, with Jack Cork scoring the only goal in extra time in the second leg at Turf Moor. United's record in Turkey, not great. They've lost their last 2 matches on Turkish soil, both in the Champions League group stages, beaten by Fenerbahce most recently. across town from this game, and also by Galatasaray back in 2012, who beat them 1-0. United just struggling to really find a fluent passing game in the early stages. Matic sticking his foot in the midfield, so he might just be slightly out of control of the challenge. Just went a little bit high. Turuts wins it back, and then links up very neatly in the midfield with Kavachi, and works it back for Martin Skrtel. Out towards that right-hand touchline for Raphael. I mentioned the United game against Fenerbahce in Europe. Martin Skrtel has played for Fenerbahce against Manchester United in Europe since leaving Liverpool. A veteran of over 300 games at Anfield. Bolingoli will take the ball down the left-hand side, and he's got the better of Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He's pulled it back here for Demba Ba, who chips it in from the left-hand side of the penalty area and missed the 3 players who'd all made runs into the centre of the penalty area. It's too high for them, and he goes out of play for a goal kick, which will be taken by Dean Henderson for Manchester United. 5 gone, 0-0.
Well, lethargic, I'd say, the first 5 minutes for Manchester United. They haven't been really at it, and that's an example of it there. Wan-Bissaka, getting there, dispossessed on the edge of his own penalty area. They got away with it, and it's a team that maybe hasn't got that real final pass or finisher of real class, the opposition tonight. But they need to up certainly their performance at the moment. And just see Matic give a ball away. It was a ball that he tried to get it over to Shaw on the left hand side. Now Shaw had made a run well into the half of the opposition, and you've got to get that ball there, because if you don't, it is cut out as it was. It leaves a gaping hole down your left hand side.
Harry Maguire with a long dive. It's a good ball in for Bruno Fernandes, who's volleyed right across the edge of the 6-yard box. May have been a shot. It's ended up going out of play for a throw, but it was a good ball over the top from Maguire. And Bruno Fernandes had just got himself isolated against Bolingoli at the far post, and he wasn't at all sure where the ball was. It dropped over his shoulder. Bruno Fernandes with the volley, but he couldn't hit the target from the resulting throw. The Shakshir have given it away. And the big blonde-haired Dutchman Van der Beek has it in the midfield. Player who reached the semi-finals of this competition with Ajax a couple of years ago. And that heartbreaking defeat at Tottenham. Out to Rashford. Back for Van der Beek again. Van der Beek just almost lets the ball come to a standstill before passing it to Matic. Matic to Maguire to Van der Beek, and into the feet of Luke Shaw. Back for Van der Beek again. Now Matic. It's all about 10-15 yards in Başakşehir territory. Martial with the layoff, finding Mata, who will stride forward and then go for the return ball, but Martial couldn't find him. Cleared out for Bruno Fernandes, and as he looked to play down towards Wan-Bissaka on the right-hand side, it was cut out. But then he tracked back really well, Bruno Fernandes, and sliding in won it and found Wan-Bissaka at the second attempt. Then a long diagonal ball played out towards Luke Shaw on the Manchester United left, but his cross was disappointing. As Başakşehir try and bring it away, they've just presented it straight to Axel Tuanzebe in the midfield. And United will be able to build. It was a slow, sluggish start, the first 4 or 5 minutes. The last couple of minutes have been much more purposeful from Manchester United, with more accuracy and more of a zip about the passing that they're playing. But it's just given away there as they try to play it in towards the feet of Martial on the edge of the area, and Bolingoli can knock it away. Wan-Bissaka covers the run of Demba Ba and will pick it up on the right-hand side. Quick 1-2 between him and Van der Beek, and then it's laid back for Harry Maguire again. Now to Matic, who's got the time to turn, threads it in towards Martial. Swift ball from him, looking for Bruno Fernandes, is knocked away. Maguire heads it forward. Kavachi in the midfield loses out to Van der Beek, who can thread it into the path of Juan Mata. Mata drops back towards halfway and exchanges passes again with the Dutchman, and then just drops back inside his own half for a moment and lays it into the path of Maguire, who can run onto it and play it down towards the touchline for Shaw. Martial made a good run off the ball, but it had to be played quickly, and it wasn't. He was in an offside position by the time Shaw spotted him, didn't play the pass. Goes back instead through the midfield for Bruno Fernandes. Now to Van der Beek, 20 yards outside the Başakşehir penalty area as it's chipped over the top. Mata can't get there, and it goes out of play for a goal kick. The Başakşehir's goalkeeper Günok will take. And it remains 0-0 in Istanbul.
Just signs that Manchester United are starting to have more movement, really. That's what I put it down to. It's that you've got 5 and 6 players all moving at the same time, and it makes it harder to defend. But I'll tell you what, that ball from Harry Maguire just 3 or 4 minutes ago to Fernandes, it was inch perfect, and if he had have caught that, and it was one of the more difficult ones on the volley, coming across your body, he got the power there, but he couldn't direct it onto goal. It would have been one of the goals of the competition so far if it had gone in.
He's only had one previous Champions League campaign, Bruno Fernandes. That was back in 2017-18. He got a couple of goals in that in his sporting days. Did score in 4 successive games earlier this season. United with this mixed bag of a record, which has still seen them win 6 of their last 9 games in all competitions, and remarkably 10 consecutive games away from home. Just playing out from the back here as Maguire finds Van der Beek. Van der Beek's ball forward, helped out towards Marcus Rashford. Rashford with an opportunity to take the ball into his stride, get it onto his right foot. Can he get himself into a shooting position? He can't. Clever back heel for Van der Beek in space. Left-footed ball whipped across the face of goal, and it was driven in low and hard by Shaw, and neither Rashford nor Martial could get there in time just to tap it into the net.
Great play by Manchester United. Now they are starting to flow more, aren't they? That all started off from a short pass from Henderson to Maguire. That's how to play out at the back. He plays into midfield, and Van der Beek, he turns. He's not scared to receive the ball with his back to people. He held it. He was under pressure. He got himself turned. Then all of a sudden, he's got the ball to Fernandes, and Man United are away.
Cavci bring the ball down in midfield. United dominating possession in the opening 10 minutes. The 2 BASAKSEHIR games so far, possession has been pretty even. They actually have more of the ball against Leipzig in their 2-0 defeat than the opposition. But it's Manchester United who've dominated possession so far, as Van der Beek slips in the midfield on a difficult slippy surface. And it's Visha from distance, and Henderson could wave it over the bar. He knew from a long way out that he wasn't quite going to dip in time. It's the first sight of his goal, and it clears it, and it's out of play for a goal kick. 11 gone on TalkSport 2 at 0-0.
I think it's a reason BASAKSEHIR haven't scored that many goals. I think there's 4 of the league games haven't scored in as well. You can see why. They haven't got a real quality finisher, and at this level in the Champions League, with that sort of space and time, you've got to at least work the goalkeeper, Jim, and that's something that they've lacked so far this season.
Edin Visha it was with the effort. He scored 19 goals last season. The Bosnian winger, who is the captain. Here's Wan-Bissaka coming in off the right flank. Good 1-2 with Bruno Fernandes, and he's won the first corner. Aaron Wan-Bissaka as he fires it in, and Eprianu, the Moldovan, comes back and heads it away. A corner which will be taken on the United right at 0-0.
First time he's got forward, isn't it? It's all down the left up to now from Man United.
Corner taken short. Mata for Bruno Fernandes. Wan-Bissaka back for Bruno Fernandes again, squeezing the ball past Bolingoli to find Juan Mata, and he's done well. He's had a good start of the game, the Spaniard. Little reverse ball into the feet of Wan-Bissaka, corner of the penalty area, and he can get it across towards the corner of the 6-yard box, but it's clear. Bolingoli for Eprianu, who will drive it forward, and Demba Ba is made a run from inside his own half. He's onside, he's clean through, and he scores for BASAKSEHIR. Demba Ba with his first goal of the season, and Manchester United committed everybody forward, and Ba just stood on halfway. It was punted long into space, and even at the age of 35, he had enough pace with his starting position to beat the Manchester United back line. Turned horribly square. There'll be a massive inquest into exactly how they were undone from there. They hadn't left anybody back. The deepest Manchester United defender was Nemanja Matic, and it was a good 10 yards inside BASAKSEHIR territory. Ba took it on 40 yards and drove it from the edge of the D past Henderson, and Manchester United trail by a goal to 0.
Well, I'd say schoolboy defending. I think that would be disrespectful to schoolboys. It is abysmal. It's Matic who just switches off, and he shouldn't be just one-on-one at the back with Demba Ba. He was 10 yards away from him. He seen that they'd lost the possession of the ball, get back into position. But Man United, how on earth can you set up like that in the Champions League? And I think that is an example of what really has gone wrong this season so far for Manchester United. It's crazy defending.
It's just an extraordinary goal to give away. As I mentioned, Alvin and I in London watching it on pictures on the monitors, and so as a result you can't see the full picture. And when he picked up the ball on halfway, you're expecting that when the camera pans out, all of a sudden there'll be another 2 Manchester United players back. But he's made the run from inside his own half, Matic completely asleep, and it's just one punt over the top. It's just an extraordinary goal to concede for Manchester United, who find themselves with work to do. It's the first that BASAKSEHIR have scored in the Champions League proper in their history, and it's come against Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's United with 13 minutes on the clock. Demba Ba, a familiar foe, the man that has broken the deadlock, and United will be able to bring it forward. They have been the better side up to that point, but that is a defensive aberration of epic proportion.
Well, they were in total control of the game at that point. Total control. It was just really when they were going to score. I would say in all of the Champions League games that I've seen, that is the worst goal I've ever seen conceded in the Champions League.
And if that sounds like an exaggeration, I can assure you it isn't. I mean, there is hyperbole and hyperbole, but it is the worst goal you can imagine your side conceding in the Champions League. Long time for United to try and hit back. They will try and do so with Shaw. And the ball goes out of play for a throw, but Raphael's gone down injured. Actually started the season in midfield in Raphael, but because of injury has dropped back into his old right back position latterly. He's just caught that on the Achilles by Bruno Fernandes, and it will be a free kick which will be taken by BASAKSEHIR. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be sitting on the bench shaking his head, because as a manager you can legislate for certain things, but you just can't legislate for your side switching off collectively in the way that they have there.
Well, this team was attacking. You know, the ball was in possession in the penalty area of the opposition. So you straight away thinking, okay, well now one long ball, we've got to defend. We've got to make sure that's the first line of defence. You have two people marking one.
United will bring it forward here. Martial, I think, would have been offside had he got to a through ball that was overhit anyway. It's a goal kick.
But I just can't get my head round at how a professional football team can set up as they were Man United. I can't get me, because it's just a basic. It's something that you learn when you're 16 or 17 years of age. And there are so many people out there. I excuse people who were up there. Harry Maguire was up there for a move. But whoever's at the back, and in this line it was Matic. If he's one-on-one, straight away you pull another player, you communicate with him and get him back in there to sit in front of you. So you've got two of you. But maybe one for one. But it wasn't even 1-1. It was none. They didn't have a defensive player on Demba Ba, and he's actually facing their goal in his own half, just on the halfway line. And the ball's being played to him. He's ran through one-on-one. Matic has got 10 yards to make up on him. And to be fair to him, he finishes with a pop.
The best comparison I can make, Al, I think it's like a cup tie. In the last minute, where a side is desperately looking for an equaliser to get back into the game, and they throw everybody forward, because it doesn't matter if they concede, they're already going out. It doesn't matter if they concede another goal. So the goalkeeper comes forward and the defenders come forward, and they've just got everybody within 35 yards of goal. But it was like that. 13 minutes into the third game out of 6 in the Champions League group stages. It is the most extraordinary goal you could wish to see conceded. And here's Luke Shaw bringing it forward for United, who trail after that Demba Ba goal, which is the fourth that he scored in 9 games against United in his career. He once scored the winner for Chelsea against United in an FA Cup quarter-final, and he scored an historic goal for BASAKSEHIR tonight. Here's Van der Beek, now for Bruno Fernandes. Matic to his left, and threaded through by Matic, but away from the feet of Martial. That'll be brought out towards the right-hand touchline, an opportunity for Visha to bring it forward. He's lost out. Raphael will clatter it forward, and chasing after it will be Ba, who is onside. I think United thought that they got him offside that time. They hadn't. It's back for Visha towards the edge of the penalty area. A little layout by him into the feet of Alexic. Alexic back for Demba Ba. Cleverly turned around the corner. Bolingoli getting to the byline. Got there ahead of Wan-Bissaka. Ball inside the box. Rashford's control. Had to make sure it didn't sit up awkwardly and hit his arm. And he can then get it away and turn it into Raphael, and now to play for a Manchester United throw. 18 gone. BASAKSEHIR 1. Manchester United 0.
It's not just his role in the goal, Matic, but he's been poor from the get-go. He's given ball after ball away. He looks like a player that's just lacking confidence. And looking at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer on the bench there, if he's ever going to get angry, really angry, that surely would trigger it, because it's still a goal I can't get my head round, and it's a perfect example of what is wrong at Manchester United. It doesn't matter how good you are going forward. And, let's hope they can recover from that and win this game. But even if they win the game, people are still going to say, and I can understand them saying it, what are they doing on the training pitch?
I'll come back to that point in a moment as Luke Shaw gets on the end of an expertly played long diagonal ball through the midfield. He'll pick it up, find Mata to Van der Beek, spins it wide, out to Shaw. Plenty of time to wrap his left foot around it, but he's flagged offside. So the last point I want to make is how much responsibility lies with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and his coaching staff for that, because they must have been able to see where they were, that Matic was isolated one-on-one against Demba Ba. Do they have a responsibility to shout as the ball is played forward here, and Tuanzebe has led into Ba and has fouled him? Now, the BASAKSEHIR players are saying that he was through in a clear and obvious goal-scoring opportunity. It should be a red card. The challenge is 10 yards outside the box, but it's the same long ball forward, and they've turned the defence, and Tuanzebe knew he couldn't let Ba get past him, and he's just caught him out the corner of his eye, and has got his arms around the left arm, his hands around the left arm of Demba Ba, and just giving him a little tug to the ground. Yellow card.
Well, I think if he's not offside, Ba, I think that's a sending off. I think it's a sending off because he's pulled him down. He's grabbed hold of his arm. He's the wrong side of him. It's a let-off in that respect.
Well, there is VAR. It's Marco Di Bello, the Italian, who will be looking at the pictures. And, of course, he has the opportunity to look at that and potentially upgrade it if he thinks that it should be. The ball, I think the only thing that could have saved Tuanzebe, the ball was slightly overhit, and Henderson was coming out of the edge of his penalty area, and I don't think Ba would have got there anyway. There was another covering defender, Maguire. I don't think he would have been in a position to make the challenge, but maybe, just maybe, he was close enough to throw an element of doubt over it. But United, talk about not responding to the aberration which has seen them concede. And now Manchester United have got plenty back, 4 in a wall, and I think they got all bar one back just outside the penalty area for this free kick, which is 13 outside the penalty area, marginally right of centre. Angle which favours a left-footed shot which comes in, and it's smacked by Epriano straight into the defensive quintet in the wall. Bounces down for Bolingoli, whose shot hits Wan-Bissaka. Bruno Fernandes turns out of trouble very ably on the edge of his area. Van der Beek goes back to the edge of his own penalty area to find Matic. Martial is played in. He goes backwards as well for Maguire. But Manchester United can play out from the back. And working with Matic down for Wan-Bissaka, now to Bruno Fernandes on the right. Rashford will make an excellent run down the right-hand touchline and has got there ahead of Bolingoli. Now as he controls it, he checks back because there was nobody in the penalty area for him to try and hit. Right-footed ball in is headed away by Epriano. And it will bounce down towards Wan-Bissaka. Played back by Mata. Brought down on the solar plexus by Matic. And Matic will just work it square to his left for Harry Maguire. 1-0 Manchester United trail. A daft goal to concede. Martial bringing it forward, left-hand side of the box. Can't find a way past Skirtle, who then with a block challenge. Shaw's done well to flick it into Martin Skirtle, and out of play for a Manchester United throw midway through the first half, with United trailing by a goal to nil. It's just worked down the left-hand side again. Alexic, the midfielder, comes back, and he will be able to fire it long, but Ba can't control it, goes out of play. Just your final thoughts. Should Solskjaer and Michael Carrick and everybody else on the bench have been able to get a message across to stop that situation happening?
Well, they should have all been yelling, screaming, because that situation...
And they might have been, because we can't see.
But the players have got to be able to listen. But the players have got to be able to do that out there as well. But yes, certainly, if you were on a bench, you would be screaming, because if you're a defensive coach, which they've got on that bench, you would be looking at the setup, and you would also be looking at the halfway line. And the halfway line has got to be secure, and it was by no means secure. The way they were set up was bad. Matic went to sleep and let somebody run off him, but he still shouldn't have been 1-for-1 anyway, Jim. Every Man United player was ahead of him.
BASAKSEHIR able to play out from the back, leading by a goal to nil. And as things stand, they would move up to 3 points along with PSG and Leipzig. They meet each other tonight in an 8 o'clock kickoff in Germany. We'll keep you updated with the scoreline from that game and all of the other matches as we bring you the second half of our live double bill later tonight from the East Midlands. Ian Dander and David Connolly talking through Derby against Queen's Park Rangers. which will come your way at the direct conclusion of this game. Manchester United in possession in the midfield with Matic. Just slowed it down and played it out towards his left-hand side. At times it is one pace from United as they bring it forward. Shaw goes back for Maguire. There have been some moments, particularly the 4 or 5 minutes leading up to the concession of the goal, where United played some excellent football with real purpose and intent. But now as it's played forward, it's slightly too high for Luke Shaw, can't control it before it's just gone over the line and out of play for a throw that BASAKSEHIR will take. And Manchester United have just not recovered from that goal they conceded.
That's right, and you can understand why. You know, if you're an attacking player for Manchester United tonight, and you've dominated, and you're playing really good stuff, and then you give a goal away as bad as that, and then there are other opportunities, maybe another instant where Demba Ba can get in. It starts to make you nervous about giving the ball away, because every time you give the ball away, you think, are they going to get another one? So it takes the freedom out of the attacking side of your attacking players.
Henderson's long ball forward. Skirtle has gone forward and followed Martial, who has dropped deep and has fouled him. Now welcome to listeners from TalkSport with the news that Manchester United are trailing by a goal to nil. A goal described by my esteemed co-commentator Alvin Martin as the worst he's ever seen conceded in Champions League football, of which more in a moment, as Visha brings it forward for BASAKSEHIR and Ba lays it off, but Bolingoli is offside. The goal came from a Manchester United corner. As they worked the ball forward, it was cleared and no Manchester United players had stayed back. Demba Ba was inside the centre circle in his own half of the pitch, and the ball was just punted forward for him, and he ran onto it away from Nemanja Matic, Drew Henderson, and scored. Absolutely no defenders anywhere near him for Manchester United, and it could have been two, maybe would have been. Ba getting on the end of another long ball forward. Twanzebe hauled him down, a yellow card given, and potentially, had the ball not quite been overhit as much as it was, it could have been red. So Manchester United, in the 13 minutes since they've conceded the goal, have offered nothing going forward. They look shell-shocked. The ball is in the midfield with United now. Van der Beek can't get there. Ba dropping deep is able to play the ball down, and it'll be worked back towards the edge of the penalty area. Alongside me, Jim Proudfoot, is the former England World Cup defender Alvin Martin. It's been a very strange Manchester United performance.
Well, we've seen the good and bad of Manchester United, and I'm afraid that the bad at this moment in time is reflecting the scoreline, because the 1-0 down to a disgraceful goal that they've conceded. They've played some really good stuff up to that, but after conceding the goal, they've gone back into their shell and they've not been able to resume the superiority that they were exhibiting before the goal.
Well, they have won 10 in a row, which is a club record away from home. But it's a real test of character and resolve if they're going to be able to get anything out of this one. We've played 26 minutes. The whole game's live over on TalkSport 2. If you download the TalkSport app, you can merely swipe one way and the other to alternate between drive and also events in the game taking place in Turkey tonight. As I say, the live commentary continues right now on TalkSport 2, where it's BASAKSEHIR 1, Manchester United now. Shaw working it forward towards the left-hand side of the box for Martial. And Skirtle takes a touch and just plays it out from the back. And then it'll be cleared by Raphael, who juggled it up and then volleyed it forward with his left foot, but straight to Maguire. Maguire to Van der Beek. And then played forward through the midfield for Bruno Fernandes. And this is better from United. Fernandes trying to get himself into a shooting position. In the end, I think Rashford had made an early run and got himself caught offside. That had drawn some defenders, but it didn't stop Bruno Fernandes having players around him and being able to get into a shooting position, and the move ended up fizzling out. It goes out of play for a United throw on their left.
He's got great feet though, hasn't he? He really has. There was just too many defenders in the vicinity for him to cope with, but it looked like he'd done two of them. I wasn't expecting him to do what he did, and that's the great thing about him. He's unpredictable, but he looked like he just shoved it half a yard and it looked like he was going to get the shot away, but again, like I said, there was just too many defenders there for him. He's the key. If they get the ball to Fernandes, they'll get goals.
Twanzebe playing the ball forward from the back. It's brought down by Juan Mata. That'll be laid out towards the left-hand side by Shaw into the feet of Martial and back again. And now to Matic. Matic to Donny van der Beek. And Van der Beek will bring it forward into BASAKSEHIR territory. Bruno Fernandes laying it off first time back for Axel Twanzebe, whose only football this season had come in the 3 Champions League games. He started in Paris, a substitute against Leipzig last week. Martial, left-hand side of the box, flicking it back from the corner of the penalty area for Luke Shaw. Back for Martial again. 1-0 to BASAKSEHIR on TalkSport 2. Layoff from Van der Beek into the feet of Bruno Fernandes. Look for Mata, but cut out by Alexic. And he'll work it back to his goalkeeper. And Gunuk can play it out towards the captain, Edin Vischer, on the left-hand side. And the talented Bosnian works it forward towards halfway. Bar doesn't look his age. He's done well so far tonight. It was an excellent finish, as you would expect. He certainly saw plenty of that exhibited in his times with West Ham, Newcastle and Chelsea. He scored 50 goals in English football between the three clubs. That goal that he scored tonight, the 176th of his career. And Rafael will be able to bring it out from the back now and play it out towards the right-hand touchline, where a long switch of play is brought down by Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka has done well. Good little 1-2 with Rashford. Wan-Bissaka's ball inside the penalty area. Brought down on the edge of the box by Martial. Diving block from Rafael. Stopped it going towards goal. And Bolingoli can bring it away. He's then lost out. Van der Beek stuck in a foot. Martial can pirouette with possession and win it back. Back it comes from Mata. Mata to Van der Beek, and it just bobbled back off Mata and rolls through for the goalkeeper. Half an hour gone. Better from Manchester United, but they're still trailing by a golden in Alvin Martin. Yeah, good ball in by Wan-Bissaka. And I think really Martial has got time really here, Jim, to hold the ball and then decide what he's going to do. He shifts it once and goes for the shot. But really, it's straight at the player. I think he's going to take that on again and be more positive. Take somebody on inside the penalty area. United trailing 1-0. The last time that they lost away from home was last January when they were beaten at Liverpool. And since then, on the road, 15 wins and 3 draws. The second longest unbeaten streak away from home in the club's history. The longest 21 games, which was started in 1998 and finished in 1999 with a defeat at Arsenal. Van der Beek tries to turn it round the corner. Won back though by Özcan. And Tuanzebe found himself isolated against Bar again, but he got it away. Out of play for a throw. He's not that experienced, Axel Tuanzebe. I think he's a fine player with an excellent future ahead of him. He's only played 20 games for Manchester United in his career. You feel as though it could be a precarious yellow card tightrope that he's walking at times against a wily old campaigner like Bar. Well, Manchester United wanted to take the game to the opposition, and a lot of the time it means that Maguire's going to be coming out with the ball, and when he does, he's one-on-one with Bar. Bar's vastly experienced. He might not be as quick as he used to be, Jim, but he knows how to get himself in between the defender and the ball, and he also knows that if you get too tight, he'll turn you, and he nearly did that then. There's one other Champions League game that's taking place at the moment, with Zenit St. Petersburg leading Lazio by a goal to nil. Zenit bottom of that group at the start of play. That's the group with Bruges and Dortmund in as well. But they lead Lazio by a goal to nil in Russia. Here's Bolingoli making his way forward, a header towards goal. It was an excellent third-man run from Alexic, but Henderson didn't have a difficult save to make. He just got his hands down very quickly, and it was headed in towards his feet, and he could gather it cleanly. Well, there were 3 white shirts there to deal with that, Manchester United, and not one of them got a head on it. And they are fortunate that the ball went straight down. It's a wet surface. If it's either side of the keeper, it's a goal, but it went straight out of Henderson. That goal that Bar scored on 13 minutes, the first that Dean Henderson's conceded in his Manchester United career. Making his Champions League debut tonight, and United still yet to have an attempt on target, 32 minutes in. BASAKSEHIR working neatly through the midfield out towards the left-hand side for Vischer. The 2 wingers do have the tendency to swap flanks. Vischer ending up on the left-hand side at the moment. Running a Wan-Bissaka who's backed off. Vischer decides that he's not going to be able to beat him on the outside, so he checks and turns back. And now Bolingoli will make a run down the left-hand side. The ball's overhit for him, and Tuanzebe has followed Alexic out, and he goes out of play for a throw. But what they are doing now, they're getting Daniel Alexic, the central midfielder, wearing 8 for BASAKSEHIR, is pushing forward into more advanced positions, getting closer in to support Demba Ba, because they fancy it going forward. They think that every time they can push forward and ask questions of United, there's a potential they can score. Well, every team needs encouragement, and they've got encouragement from Manchester United. You know, they know that Manchester United aren't the finished article yet. They're not really playing as a team. They're not squeezing and making it really difficult.
when they're pressuring the opposition, and they're not really looking solid at the back. So you put them two things together, and any opposition is going to think, well, come on, we may as well have a go.
Now Nemanja Matic has given a free kick away right on the edge of the penalty area. Turuc was the player that went down, and he fell through the penalty area. It was by the corner of the box. The foul has happened one side of the corner, and he's fallen through the penalty area and ended up on the deck the other side of the penalty area. But that was close, very close indeed to being a penalty.
He gets a bit of the ball, and that's what he'll say, and I'd agree with him. But look, he hasn't been at his best, and I think he's somebody that half-time, if this scoreline stays the same, Jim, he could make changes at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because I think he is somebody that if he doesn't get angry at half-time, he never will.
The free kick is a foot outside the penalty area. It's a yard from the left-hand side of the penalty area in towards the D. There are 3 in the United wall. Henderson's happy that wall's in the right place. Bruno Fernandes stands to the right-hand side of the wall. 5 more United players stand in a line about 10 yards from goal. It comes in left-footed from Kavici, deep towards the far post, headed back down. Epriano helping it back in. Bruno Fernandes takes a touch and a second. But the offside flag, I think, is up anyway, and it's a free kick which will be taken by United. It was a set piece in a really good position that BASAKSEHIR made a real mess of.
I think the worrying thing is for Manchester United at the moment is that, coming up to half-time or 10 minutes away from half-time, they're not playing well going forward. They're not looking defensively solid either. There's nothing really in the game now that you could say is positive about them. They had a spell of about 15 minutes before they conceded that dreadful goal where they were looking really good. But it's really knocked the stuffing out of them, and I think now they're looking dishevelled. You want to get in at half-time, certainly, and reorganise what is at the moment totally disorganised.
United have had 60% of the ball up to this point. 3 attempts, none of them on target. BASAKSEHIR have had 5 attempts, 2 on target, one of them obviously the goal. Here's Wan-Bissaka for United, pushing forward towards the edge of the area, not taking on Bolingoli with a great degree of conviction. He tried to nutmeg in, cannon back off his leg and back to safety. But United then recycle it and work it down towards Bruno Fernandes on the right. In from him to Matic. Bruno Fernandes again, chipping it over the top. Matt has made a good run. A set for Wan-Bissaka. He's chipped it in towards the far post. Martial have made a darting run towards the near. And the ball didn't have the legs to get to Shaw. And then BASAKSEHIR work it forward. Twanzebe was dealing with Barr and not dealing with him particularly effectively. Kavici can pick it up on the edge of the box. Options to his right-hand side. Maguire was back and got an important footing to steer it away. But it was 2 against 2 for a moment, and one of the BASAKSEHIR players looks to the heavens and lets out a real yelp of anguish, because they know just what a good opportunity that was to double their lead.
Well, I think it's crazy that you play a Champions League game and you're 1-0 down, and you let a situation develop where you're 3 versus 3, then 2 versus 2, and usually in them scenarios with that amount of space around, there's normally a shot on goal. There's something that ends with an end product. They were lucky that they did get around it again. Maybe it was the fact that the ball went to the left-hand side and they didn't have enough pace to be able to take advantage of it. But look, it's poor. And he's now out of his seat, Solskjaer, and he's pointing fingers, and he must be thinking, what have we been working on all week? We've had 2 great Champions League performances, and it's been followed by this one, which at the moment is so substandard.
37 minutes gone. It's 1-0 to BASAKSEHIR. Just the one, which might be a saving grace, really. Henderson clears. Long ball forward. And Martin Skrtel, wearing 37 as he used to do for Liverpool, can head away. It comes down over the halfway line. It's brought under control on the left-hand side of the midfield by Turuc. And laid back to the goalkeeper by Bolingoli. And he will play it out towards Raphael. Raphael, who won 3 league titles in his time at Old Trafford. He played in a couple of Champions League semi-finals for the club as well, but never a final. United have it. Worked by Bruno Fernandes to Matic. Van der Beek made an early run forward. We've not seen Donny on the ball too much at all. Back it goes for Shaw. Shaw to Matic again. 7 minutes from half-time. United trailing 1-0 here on TalkSport 2. Derby against Queen's Park Rangers to come at 7:45 tonight. As soon as this game finishes, we'll be there with Dance and David Connolly Bruno Fernandes disguises the cross, gets it the second time of asking, but it's straight into the hands of goalkeeper Gunok. And with 38 gone, United still trail 1-0.
Well, against a side of this quality, you'd think that, Martial, Rashford, Fernandes, they're big names, good players. They would have caused more problems. But, the keeper really hasn't had too much to do that I can remember. And, the problem that the Solskjaer has got, he's got to start getting results. If he doesn't, then the likes of Fernandes, who's a wonderful player, world-class player, Rashford, world-class player, they will end up being in a team that is going in the wrong direction and start to think about, do I really want to be at this club? Do I want to stay here, commit my future, my best years to this club? That's the problem that Solskjaer's got, because I'll go back to it. You look at this team and you think, well, on this performance, they still are not educated in how to play defensive football.
Van der Beek finds Bruno Fernandes. He'll play it back inside his own half for Tuanzebe. Tuanzebe working to his left-hand side for Harry Maguire. Maguire's ball forward into the feet of Marcus Rashford. Van der Beek. And it's spun awkwardly down towards the right-hand side of midfield for Mata, and he's lost it. And Taruch can make his way forward into the path of Demba Ba. Little step over from him, and Kavechi lays it off for Visha, who makes it 2. And it all came after a sloppy ball in the midfield. Worked out towards the left-hand side. Couple of step-overs and dummies in the midfield. United defenders completely out of shape and out of position. And Edin Visha rifles the ball into the roof of the net. It's BASAKSEHIR 2, Manchester United 0. And it was all after Bruno Fernandes given an awkward ball from Van der Beek in midfield, but he lazily tried to flick it out towards Mata, and from that moment the second goal was inevitable.
Absurd, absolutely absurd. And again, there were 5 versus 3 there, giving the ball away. And this team really now has scored 2 goals, but they've been gifted 2 goals. And Manchester United have been absolutely atrocious in terms of standard defending.
Edin Visha, the BASAKSEHIR captain, with the goal. And just to put things in perspective, this is the side who is 7th in the Turkish league at the moment. Yes, they are champions, but they've lost 8 of their last 13 games in all competitions. And they have never won a game in this Champions League before. But they lead Manchester United by 2 goals to 0. And if United are to make it 11 consecutive away wins, it's going to be Herculean effort from here. Because the Manchester United that we saw, who were not quite dazzling, but was certainly sharp and very easy on the eye for an excellent 6 or 7 minute spell before the first goal farcically went in against them. That United have just disappeared. They're completely in their shell. They need leaders, they need personalities out there at the moment. And they're hard to find.
Jim, I spoke prior to the game about in-game management, knowing what to do in different scenarios. And this is an example of a team that doesn't know. They're playing off the cuff.
Shaw on the left-hand side for Manchester United, flights it inside the area, and there's the first one back. Martial with an excellent header. Good delivery from Luke Shaw. And he was just on his way down, Martial, as he steered the header into the bottom right-hand corner, which made it an even better finish. And the deficit is halved almost straight away. Anthony Martial with the first of 3 that United need to win this tonight. And it's BASAKSEHIR 2, Manchester United 1.
It's a wonderful header, it really is, because he's got to generate all the power, and the positioning of the header has got to be perfect, and it was. You've always got a chance with people like that in your team. Gets them back in the game. It doesn't wipe out the dreadful moments that they've had in this first half, but certainly you know that you're back in the game.
Anthony Martial with the goal 2 minutes from half-time. Only his 2nd goal of the season. His 73rd in Manchester United colours. He got 23 last season. That's actually only the 7th that he's ever scored in the Champions League at a rate of less than 1 every 5 games, but it could yet prove to be an important one for United as they look to force their way back into this game. Rashford has done well to stop the ball going out of play for what would have been a goal kick. A little flick with the heel from him, back to Van der Beek. Now to Matic. Matic turning in the midfield. 90 seconds to go to half-time. Another United goal now, and the whole complexion of the game has changed. And United can get in at half-time on level terms and know they've got away with one. Van der Beek, left-hand side of the box, can't tiptoe his way through. Visha, able to play out from the back, and all of a sudden they'll stride forward again. And 3 Manchester United players unable to effect Burach as he brought the ball forward. Layoff from him for Bar. Now towards Bolingoli. Back from Turich again. Rafael to Kavachi. And Turich comes back and links up the play on the left-hand touchline. But just for a moment, it was 2 against 3 breaking forward, and the 2 looked overwhelming favourites. United just at 6s and 7s at the back. Ball is played back towards the left-hand side of the midfield for Kavachi. Now we're 30 seconds from half-time with Manchester United back in the game, but still trailing 2-1.
The makeup in Manchester United's midfield is so disjointed, and it really isn't very attractive. You know, they've not got stability, they've not got defensive cover, they've not got real magic creativity. That's got to be redesigned, certainly at half-time.
And it might be both a change of system and a change of personnel that is necessary. Free kick given away. Nemanja Matic has to be careful. He's on a yellow card for the challenge on the edge of the penalty area, which was inches away from being a penalty. He's just had another little nibble there. That's the last action of the first 45 minutes. Well, as you look at Manchester United performances over the course of the season, this one is much more Tottenham than RB Leipzig. Farcical defending at times for Manchester United, not worthy of the club's name. The first goal they conceded was extraordinary. The second one left them open in so many areas as well, both physically on the pitch and to criticism. They have got themselves back into the game with Martial's header, but that is just a performance that it's hard really to get your head round. Half-time, BASAKSEHIR 2, Manchester United 1.
Jim, thank you very much indeed. And Alvin, dear oh dear, saved a little bit by Anthony Martial, but that was largely woeful.
Absolutely, and look, there's always a chance that they're in the game. You know, with the forwards that they've got. You know, Fernandes, Martial, Rashford, any one of them can get you back into a game. But look, Russ, there's no getting away from it. That is as bad a performance in the first 45 as I can remember by Manchester United, because it could have been more. You know, they conceded 2, but it could have been 3 or 4 against a side, one of the minnows of the competition. If they'd been playing a Manchester City, a Barcelona, a Liverpool tonight, they could have conceded 7 or 8 goals.
The first goal, Demba Ba got it. It was a farce. The word that you've used, just describe it for us from your point of view. I mean, you'd be having nightmares about this if you're a United defender, wouldn't you?
That's right. Well, you know, you go and attack, and you get a situation where you think, okay, well, we get some of our centre-halves into the box. The ball breaks down, is delivered, and then it breaks down, and then straight away, before that's even happened, you look at what your formation is. So before the actual free kick, corner, set piece has ever been taken, you were already, as a defender, as a coaching set up on the bench, looking at what if we lose the ball, what if we turn the ball over here, are we set up right? The answer was no, and I've never seen then a ball being played 70, 80 yards into the feet of Bar and nobody being anywhere near him. I've never seen that. I can't remember seeing it in a professional game. You know, it's incredible to think. I mean, Matic, I'll be amazed if he comes out in the second half. He's been booked. He's given countless balls away, and some of the, you know, we've seen nice things from Fernandes. Martial's got his goal. Rashford's working really hard. I think Van der Beek has done really well in midfield. But Mata and Matic, for me, really, they've got to reconfigure that.
Yeah, I mean, United so poor at the back. Tuanzebe exposed a few times by Demba Ba, and I noticed Harry Maguire sort of running around doing a lot of pointing, but nobody seemed to be taking much notice in that defence of what he was trying to say to them.
Do you know, sometimes, Russ, I think Maguire is very good on the ball. He played one splendid ball when they were starting to dominate over to Fernandes, and he half caught it on the volley. It would have been a spectacular goal. So he's a really gifted player with the ball at his feet. But I think in some ways he gets too involved with the ball at his feet, because what he's doing, and I think that the opposition will let him do it. He's coming into advanced areas, being a midfielder. But whenever they turn the ball over, then they've got a 1 versus 1 with Sanzivi at the back, and Demba Ba is vastly experienced. He knows how to utilise that. So it's a problem for them. You know, do they say to Maguire, look, we don't want you going into them advanced areas. We want 2 for 1 at the back. You stand in front of Bar. Whenever we win the ball back, we go again. But I think he is starting to come out with the ball, and he's isolating his centre-half partner in a situation where his inexperience is being played upon.
Yeah, Visca got the second. It went from bad to worse, and all of a sudden, I think it was Luke Shaw cross, wasn't it? Anthony Martial, lovely header, 73rd goal for United, and they're clinging on. They're still in the game. Yeah,
well, you know, this Manchester United side can play a lot better than that. You know, they've played to probably 70% of their potential in the first half. So you've got to go in there now, readjust the system. Certainly the personnel will change, and there's got to be a lot of home truths. There's got to be a lot of fire in that speech, that half-time team talk by Solskjaer, and the players have then got to respond. They know they're back in the game. They know if they get the ball to their match winners, they'll still win this game. But, you know, Manchester United, the worrying thing for Solskjaer is it's like they don't know what to do in given situations. And Shaw put a ball in for the goal that they got with Martial. He's had so much ball, and I think he's got to be more positive. You know, he's got to take more chances. When he gets the ball to feet, he's doing stuff that is just basic. I think you've got to really start to fly balls in there, you know, and do something with a lot more intent than he has. But that's been you know, Manchester United for the majority of the half. They had about a 20-minute spell where they were very good, Russ, but there's so much more bad in that first 45 than good.
Yeah, afraid that is the way it is at the moment. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, a lot of work to do right now in that dressing room at half-time. Champions League football live here on TalkSport 2 in Turkey. Istanbul Basaksehir 2, Manchester United 1.
TalkSport 2 Live.
Before you sink into the driver's seat of an approved used Volvo, our Volvo Select team have made sure it's just right for you. With over 150 checks, letting you drive away knowing every time you get behind the wheel will be as good as the first. A 30-day satisfaction guarantee, so should you change your mind, it's no problem. Not that you will. And a 12-month unlimited mileage warranty, meaning whatever happens, you know we got your back. Visit volvocars.co.uk to find out more about Volvo Select. Program terms and conditions apply.
Fillet of fish from a dish, share box and evening frocks, Big Mac down a cul-de-sac and even under a drying rack, medium fries in rainy skies, or maybe cheeseburgers in the bath. How daft. Wraps through cat flaps, nugs on rugs, or perhaps a McChicken sandwich to the river. Because yes, we deliver. Download Uber Eats or Just Eat and enjoy McDonald's at home. At participating McDonald's and locations only. See mcdonalds.co.uk/McDelivery to see if there's one near you. See Uber Eats or Just Eat app for full details. Delivery fee applies.
Running your own business doesn't have to be complicated, especially when it comes to getting paid. With the SumUp Air card reader, it's simple. Card payments with no monthly costs and no binding contract. The SumUp Air is simple, affordable, and allows contactless payments. Just pair it with your smartphone and get paid anytime and anywhere. With 73 branches across the UK, get your SumUp Air card reader from your local Denmans electrical wholesalers or at denmans.co.uk.
Guys, it's time we talked about the one thing an estimated 1 in 4 men in the UK will experience. Erectile dysfunction. Yeah, uncomfortable, isn't it? So let's talk treatments like Aronix, exclusive to Lloyd's Pharmacy, available without prescription and now only $9.99 for 4 tablets. Shop today, in-store and online at lloydspharmacy.com. Lloyd's Pharmacy, always here for you. Offer ends 17th of November, contains sildenafil. Always read the label, subject to suitability.
UK employers. The way you hire from the EU is changing from the 1st of January 2021. To hire anyone new from outside the UK, you'll need to register as a licensed sponsor. Getting a license normally takes 8 weeks and fees apply. New employees from outside the UK will also need to meet language, job and salary requirements. Find out everything you need to know about the UK's points-based immigration system at gov.uk/hiring from the EU.
At Nissan, we integrate innovation and technology into our cars to help you live richer. To make your drive a lot less and a lot more. To find the Nissan that's right for you, join us at our Innovation Celebration event from the 2nd to the 30th of November and get an extra £500 deposit contribution towards a Nissan Juke, Qashqai and X-Trail, available at 4.99% APR representative. Search Nissan. Available on PCP Nissan Finance. Order by 30th November. Register by 17th December. Participating dealers only. Excludes Vizia. T's and C's apply. Visit nissan.co.uk.
Think a global pandemic could stop us frying chicken? Nah. We're still here frying our best original recipe chicken for takeaway, delivery and drive-through. Oh, and the Wow Box is just $3.49. That's a fillet burger, fries and one piece of chicken for just $3.49. Only at KFC. Ends 15th of November at participating restaurants, subject to availability.
Saturday afternoon, live Championship football. Reading versus Stoke. Coverage from 11, kick-off at 12:30 on TalkSport 2. Now on DAB+.
On DAB+, online, via the TalkSport app and on your smart speaker. This is TalkSport 2 Live.
Wayne, obviously, he's a great player and still a great coach coming up now.
Rooney curls it. What a goal! A moment of magic from Wayne Rooney. Newly signed striker from Livingston will step up right-footed in front of the railway end and he smashes it beyond Morosi. 2-2 for Lyndon Dykes.
I think there you have a very well-respected manager with an outstanding football CV being put under ludicrous pressure so early in the season.
Derby County against QPR is coming up for you after we've finished in Istanbul. Your match commentary team are Ian Danter and David Connolly. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening to you, Russell.
I think this is a really big game for Derby County. They've got 2 home games on the bounce. And I suppose we'll do team news first and we'll have a quick chat about it.
So the team news is Derby County have made 2 changes. Kamil Jozwiak is fit again. He's the Polish international that signed from Lech Poznan last month. He's been out for a couple of games with a foot injury, but he's back. The other change is Craig Forsyth coming for Lee Buchanan. And Tavierik is the other player to drop out who played at centre-half on Saturday. So it looks as though Philip Cocu is reverting to 4 at the back system for Derby, with Marshall as the goalkeeper, Burns, Davis, Clark and Forsyth in defence, Knight and Shinnie in defensive midfield, and then Jozwiak, Rooney and Lawrence in behind Waghorn up front, although that could be a very fluid front 4, as we saw at Bournemouth at the weekend in the 1-1 draw. For QPR, it's a bit more straightforward. Rob Dickie has served his suspension for a red card. He comes straight back in, and QPR's only change from their win against Cardiff at the weekend. Masterson drops to the bench, so Dieng the keeper, Kane, Dickie, Barbe and Hamalainen in a back 4, Cameron and Carroll hold in midfield, and then Adoma, Chair and Osai Samuel in behind Dykes up front. There's your team news, Russ.
All right, thank you very much, Dan. Looking forward to this one, David, not least because for Derby and Philip Cocu, their manager, it's 2 crucial games.
Yeah.
And
big week.
David Marshall, their goalkeeper, is playing tonight. Just said it's a massive week. And it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And obviously, what you want, I guess, is home games, and that's what he's got. However, their form at home has been dreadful. I mean, they've only got 1 point against Cardiff. But I think they are slowly improving. The worry for them is, of the goals they've scored, 3 of them have been free kicks. Another one actually got a ricochet off a wall from a free kick that they tapped in. And some of those free kicks have been absolutely exceptional, But without them, they're struggling for goals. They have kept it tighter at the back, which will be pleasing for him, but they've really struggled at home, and the thing is they've got to start picking up points. He is under immense pressure, make no mistake, Philip Cocu, he really is.
And QPR, of course, coming off a brilliant win, 3-2 against Cardiff on Saturday. They've been making the respectful noises, but they've got to be confident, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at some of their goals as well, they're absolutely, brilliant finishes. I've got to say, Elias Chair, the first one, a nice little cross from Adoma. Kane, obviously, with a lovely little technique with his laced volley. And the winner, from ball was absolutely brilliant. Banged it in from outside the box, top corner. But, prior to that, they gave away a couple of really soft goals. They really were. You look at the Barnsley game, obviously Dickie's back, but he got sent off for a really clumsy Swansea shoulder pull. You go to Preston, Lee Wallace gave away 2 penalties, both really clumsy. So they've given themselves at times, sort of a real sort of mountain to climb. And I don't know, I think it'll be an evenly poised game, because Derby, they like to get the lead and they can't ever seem to hang on to it, but when they do, they win. And for Rangers, you always feel like they'll give you a chance, that you might nick a goal against them. Obviously conceded so many last season, 76, and they actually scored more than Fulham. But they've just lost all. Yeah, they scored like 3 more than Fulham. We obviously got promoted now, but Hugo, Wells, Eze, all well into double figures, 13s and 14s. So that's like 40 odd goals you've lost from your team. Very difficult to replace.
Yeah, there you are. You see, you learn something new on Talk Sport 2 every night. Thank you to David and thank you to Ian. We'll be with them as soon as we've finished in Istanbul. Champions League football, part of our double bill of live football tonight on Talk Sport 2. And it's been woeful, mostly, for United. They're losing in Turkey.
Demba Ba, he's made a run from inside his own half. He's onside, he's clean through, and he scores for BASAKSEHIR. Demba Ba with his first goal of the season.
Well, I'd say schoolboy defending, and I think that would be disrespectful to schoolboys. It is abysmal. And I think that is an example of what really has gone wrong this season so far for Manchester United. It's crazy defending.
Demba Ba, little step over from him, and Kamachi lays it off for Visha, who makes it 2. And it all came after a sloppy ball in the midfield. Worked out towards the left-hand side. Couple of step-overs and dummies in the midfield. United defenders completely out of shape and out of position. And Edin Visha rifles the ball into the roof of the net. Shaw on the left-hand side for Manchester United, flights it inside the area, and there's the first one back. Martial with an excellent header. Good delivery from Luke Shaw.
The header's got to be perfect, and it was. You've always got a chance with people like that in your team. Gets them back in the game.
BASAKSEHIR 2, Manchester United 1.
So that's the way it was after the first 45 minutes. What can United do in the second half? Can they turn it around? Can they get a victory? We're going to find out with Alvin Martin and Jim Proudfoot.
Well, they've made a change at half-time. No surprise there. It's Scott McTominay coming on, but it's Axel Tuanzebe who's made way. Well, perhaps seeing McTominay's number come up, you could have made a case for Matic or for Mata, but it is Tuanzebe who's come off. He had a tricky night as well. So McTominay for Tuanzebe. Now, whether that means that McTominay is going to play at centre-half, or whether they're going to try and shuffle things around, remains to be seen. It looks as though they've dropped Matic into the defensive line alongside Maguire. McTominay is going to play in midfield alongside Van der Beek. So Matic playing at centre-half alongside Harry Maguire is the sticking plaster for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Referee gets us underway. Manchester United trailing by 2-1. He really can only get better, certainly from a defensive perspective. BASAKSEHIR in their orange shirts and very dark blue shorts work the ball forward. First touch for Matic in this deeper role is to lay it back for Henderson. So Maguire's playing on the right of the two centre-halves now. Matic on the left. The ball is played forward, and Marcus Rashford just got caught there. He's okay. Ball's gone out of play for a throw that'll be taken on the BASAKSEHIR right-hand side by Raphael. It goes out of play for another throw. Manchester United in their zebra kit, white shirts with the black diagonal stripes, and they've given a free kick away. Marcus Rashford was the guilty party. There's a grin on the face of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as that free kick is given away. It was Alexic that was caught there by Rashford. Contact did appear to be minimal, but it will be a free kick which will be taken by BASAKSEHIR. And Solskjaer almost ended up wearing it as well, as it was cleared straight into the dugout. I think that's what he was smiling about, just having to take evasive action. Alvin Martin, former England World Cup defenders alongside me. What have you made of the change at half-time?
Well, I'm surprised. Look, he has got a problem, but he had several problems. One of them, obviously, was whenever they were turning over the ball, they looked so, delicate at the back. And the youngster, it was brilliant in the last game. Certainly, in terms of reading situations, he's more of an athlete. I think he was reacting to situations, and Demba Ba was causing him, untold problems. But I don't think, it's crazy that they haven't got a ready-made replacement. They've got to put a midfielder back into there, and it's a midfielder, who maybe, has been one of the culprits as well in central midfield. So he's not high on confidence.
Yeah, but they have though, Al. That's the strange thing about it. They got Lindelof, so they could have brought Victor Lindelof in to play at centre half and maybe taken Matic off as well. He can make 5 changes. But it's a strange one. I don't know. We'll find out how it all pans out. Here's Maguire, who goes out to the right-hand side for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. 2.5 minutes gone second half. Manchester United trailing by 2-1, with 2 down briefly before Anthony Martial's excellent header got them back into the game. But now they need to build on that. And if they can play on a consistent basis as they did for patches, only isolated patches, but 4 patches going forward in that first half, no reason at all why they can't win this, because going forward they have moments of excellence. And Maguire's just been caught there as he was ducking in to head the ball away. Barr raised his boot to try and win it, and credit to Maguire, who saw it for what it was. It was a genuine attempt from Barr to win the ball. It hurt Maguire, but Harry Maguire very sportingly accepted the hand of apology for Demba Ba and made sure that the referee realised it was an accident. It was a good display of sportsmanship from him there. Van der Beek was caught there. The play goes on with Matic laying it back for Van der Beek again on halfway. United trailing 2-1.
Do you know one of the problems as well that you have as a centre half, and you've got somebody playing up on you like Demba Ba is. It's okay when the team that you play for make it incredibly difficult for him to receive quality service. But Manchester United isn't that sort of team. They do let you have time on the ball. They don't press and squeeze and harass you like some of the top teams do. So it makes playing centre half much more difficult in that respect.
They're underway in a couple of championship games, incidentally. Reading against Preston, the leaders at home tonight at the Medeski, and high-flying Watford at home to Stoke. Both of those 0-0 in the very early stages. We'll keep you updated with the goals from there. Zenit lead Lazio 1-0, 6 minutes into the second half of their Champions League encounter, which would see only 1 point between the 4 teams in that group, as things stand at the moment. This one 4 minutes into the second half. Manchester United trailing by 2-1. And a reminder that at the conclusion of this game, we're straight to Pride Park for Derby against Queen's Park Rangers, the second half of our double bill on TalkSport 2 tonight, with Dance and David Connolly talking you through the action from Pride Park. Bruno Fernandes is chasing. The ball is cleared away by Eprianu and brought down in the midfield by McTominay. McTominay finding Van der Beek, and he will work it to his left-hand side for Matic. Scott McTominay not too far adrift of 100 Manchester United games now. Already a goal at Vicarage Road. Watford 0, Stoke 1. A 3rd minute goal for Stoke City in that game in the home counties tonight. Rashford bringing the ball forward towards the left-hand side of the penalty area. United trailing 2-1. It's cleared in the midfield by Cavaci, straight into Rashford. Ricochets back. Should be easily knocked away though by Visha, the score of the second goal for BASAKSEHIR. And then Wan-Bissaka was having his shirt pulled by Barr. He can maintain possession without the need for the referee to intervene. And McTominay will work it to the left-hand side for Van der Beek. Van der Beek to Shaw. Shaw back again to Matic. Matic works it through the midfield for McTominay to Maguire, and then back for Matic again. Stephen Fletcher it was that got that early goal for Stoke. A 2nd minute opener. Watford 0, Stoke 1 at Vicarage Road. Manchester United trailing 2-1. Martial played for by him. Eprianu can knock it away, and then play down the left-hand side by Turrets and out towards Bolingoli. Bolingoli driving forward over halfway into the feet of Barr. Chips it back inside his own half for Eprianu, who's in his 7th season with the club. The Moldovan who's won nearly 100 international caps. United able to work the ball wide here for Mata. Mata coming in off the right-hand touchline, checks onto his left foot, then a little reverse ball, space for Bruno Fernandes, 2 to aim at in the middle, but he couldn't find either of them. As Rashford and Martial were both waiting, he split the gap between the pair of them, and it's gone out of play after a clearance for a throw. The United have taken quickly with McTominay, finding Matic. Matic coming forward from the back. Martial able to pick it up on the edge of the D, finding Rashford. Rashford back for Bruno Fernandes to Van der Beek. Then McTominay rolled out towards the right-hand touchline for Wan-Bissaka's ball in, and that one's cleared by Eprianu and out of play for another throw.
They've got down that right-hand side twice now, and in good positions, Fernandes, Wan-Bissaka. But I think there's got to be more bodies. There's only 2 in there. You know, I think they've got good possession. You should be having 3 and 4 Manchester United shirts in there, ready to hit.
Matic finding Shaw. Shaw to Marcus Rashford. He can't turn, and then Shaw coming back has fouled Raphael. And it's a free kick, I beg your pardon, which will be taken on near the edge of the penalty area for BASAKSEHIR, who've lost 2 of their 4 games that they played at home this season. Beaten by Galatasaray in the league and by PSG in the Champions League last week, a 2-0 home defeat. They did at one stage go 402 minutes without scoring in the league. That was a run that only ended 3 weeks ago. It was one of the worst defences to the start to the defence of a Turkish title winner in the league's history. They have sorted things out latterly. Now United with a quick free kick, chip it over the top, but Martial can't get there, and goalkeeper will pick it up and bowl it out quickly for Epriano, and he plays it forward into the midfield for Özcan. Turkish international back for the goalkeeper. United's press not quite half-hearted, but certainly not with a huge amount of intensity and unison.
But it can't be effective unless everyone buys into it, Jim. And you know, it was lax. You know, there's no point in the first one going if the second one and third one doesn't follow in, and they still don't do that. They still haven't polished that up. That's part and parcel now of being a top team. Don't care what team you are, you need to be able to press the ball high up the pitch and do it collectively, and they don't do it.
And you're pointing the finger at the manager when you say that.
Well, you've got to. You know, these players have got to be coached into doing that. It takes a lot of preparation, a lot of hours on the training pitch, getting that right, because it's not easy. Everybody has got to know, and you know, it's not just the 11 that you start with most weeks. It's every player in the club has got to know when that ball's played there and the first press is on, you all follow in.
Now United have won it back. McTominay to Bruno Fernandes towards the edge of the penalty area, and that was, well, agricultural to say the least from Raphael, who has dived in and caught Bruno Fernandes amidships with his head. Free kick to United. Martial had done very well to win possession back. I think that the BASAKSEHIR complaints by and large were the fact that they thought Özcan was fouled by Martial, but it was certainly a free kick in the way by Raphael, who's just come in and steamrolled it into Bruno Fernandes. So this is a set-piece opportunity of promise, because it's plumb dead centre, and it's 10 yards, 8 yards outside the penalty area, looking at where the referee is lining up the wall. It's inside the box, and here's a chance for 2-2.
Well, I think it's perfect. Either Mata or Fernandes can take this on. It's left foot or right foot. I think they prefer it maybe just a yard closer, but it's certainly doable.
Bruno Fernandes is spotting the ball down. That's often the giveaway for who's going to take it, but Juan Mata is in close attendance as well. Fernandes has taken a couple of steps back. Plenty in that wall set up by Gunok. Maguire stands in front of the wall. Martial stands to the right of the wall as Bruno Fernandes is looking at it. That might be the gap that Bruno Fernandes tries to hit here. So will it be Mata with his left or Bruno Fernandes with his right? It's Bruno Fernandes, and it's a good save. He didn't quite get it into the inside side netting, and Gunok could dive away to his right hand side to knock it away. And the counter-attack could be on, but Shaw stops it in its infancy, and Matic can go back to his goalkeeper. Well, a decent side for Bruno Fernandes, but a smart enough save, a relatively comfortable save.
Yeah, one for the cameras, wasn't it? I think I always think about that. If that goes in, would you class it as a goalkeeper mistake? And the answer would be yes.
Maguire finding Matic. Matic to Luke Shaw on the Manchester United left. Rashford turning it forward into Raphael, and now to play for a throw. Raphael's twin brothers at Nantes these days. Fabio, they're in their 30s, which makes me feel old. The twins who were first teamers as teenagers at Manchester United are now in their 30s. Here's Luke Shaw. Shaw goes back for Matic. Matic raises the palm of his right hand, just trying to tell his teammates, I think, to calm down. Rashford plays it forward. It's one back in the midfield. Turned neatly through the midfield area by Barr. Bar to Alexic, out towards the left-hand touchline for Visha to Bolingoli, left-hand side of the penalty area. Low ball in from him, stamped away by McTominay. And then Wan-Bissaka will just lean back inside the box and chip it to safety. Mata, though, can't bring it any further forward. Bolingoli's won it back. Visha on the corner of the penalty area, lays it back behind square. An opportunity to shoot, passed up by Cavaci. And then it goes wide to the right-hand side for Raphael. Raphael pulling it back past the corner of the box. Left-footed in-swinging delivery. Headed away by Wan-Bissaka. Cavaci on the follow-up has ballooned it high. And it'll actually go down towards the corner flag. But that was a nervy moment as the ball was played in. And the defensive header could have fallen anywhere, but Cavaci couldn't make the most of the chance.
Well, he only needed to get a touch on it, and it would have been a real problem for Henderson. But I've got to say, in the second half, they do certainly look better, you know, in terms of being solid, Manchester United. Still not absolute solid, but they do look a better balanced team defensively.
Shaw's played it forward, and it's flicked round the corner by Bruno Fernandes. Martial tried to take it in to the penalty area in his stride. Epriano got it away. And then going up for it in the midfield, Alexic was beaten by McTominay. Rashford can knock it forward, and good quick feet from Marcus Rashford. Takes it on inside the penalty area, pulled back for Van der Beek. Van der Beek to Bruno Fernandes. Mata tried to play the return ball back to him, but lost it. And it's brought away by the bustling winger Turich. It took 4 to stop him, but stop him they did. And Manchester United will be able to bring it forward again. We play 13 minutes of the second half on TalkSport 2. BASAKSEHIR 2, Manchester United 1. Back from Van der Beek to Matic. Inside the centre circle is Harry Maguire, and the United captain works it out towards the right for Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka's control, laid back in towards Bruno Fernandes. Back for Wan-Bissaka, and then into the feet of McTominay. Back now for Maguire to Van der Beek. 15 yards inside BASAKSEHIR territory. He's played it diagonally forward out towards the left-hand touchline for Luke Shaw. Shaw to Rashford, who's right on the touchline, just waiting for the challenge to come. Similarly, Van der Beek just waiting for Cavaci to dive in before working it forward. Matic into the feet of Bruno Fernandes. Mata from a tight angle trying to work it across the edge of the 6-yard box, but it's cleared, sliced high up in the air by Turich, and then headed away by Epriano on the edge of the D. United pick up the loose ball in the midfield again with Mata. Better touch from him. Bruno Fernandes from distance via a deflection that actually spun it towards goal, but it took the pace off the shot. And the goalkeeper could react and come back and make a comfortable catch in the end.
I think Man United have just upped the tempo and they look better for it. And you would expect as well, if they did get to 2-2 with maybe 15-20 minutes to go, that there's a very good chance they'll go on and win this game.
Absolutely. I still think that they could win. No doubt about that. But I think even if they do win from here, whereas the character will certainly be praised after such a poor first half performance, it might only paper over a few cracks, and the question marks over some of the defending individually and as a team in the first half will give Ollie a sleepless night tonight, irrespective of what happens from here.
That's right, Jim. And I think look, you know, there will be criticism, and the only way I think there's been criticism over the season really at different moments. The only way to quieten that criticism down is by performing, and unfortunately, you know, they haven't done that. And tonight, all it does, it attracts more criticism, and even if you win the game, you know that criticism is founded.
A double change, Van der Beek off, and Paul Pogba comes on with half an hour to go. I just wonder, is the script written for the much pilloried and criticised Paul Pogba to come and win this game for Manchester United? Edison Cavani is on as well. Van der Beek was the first player who was withdrawn. I haven't seen who the second player is, and I would imagine it's Rashford, but no, it's not. Marcus Rashford's still there. Just confirm that second substitution in a moment. It's Bruno Fernandes leaves it for Rashford with a free kick from 35 yards out, rifled into the wall and easily headed away. But a bounce down for Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka has played it back through the midfield. It's Juan Mata, thank you Alv, who's the player that has come off. High left-footed up and under from Shaw. Brought down beautifully on the right-hand side of the penalty area by Martial. Martial into the feet of Bruno Fernandes. It's cleared out for Fernandes again. Fernandes getting through traffic. Still Bruno Fernandes goes, and when he gets a left-footed shot in, it's taken a deflection off Raphael that spins it wide for a corner.
He's some player, Fernandes. You know, all right, maybe he hasn't had his best game tonight, but he's just shown little signs of it. He just runs with the ball. He does the unexpected. Thought maybe he could have pulled the trigger a little earlier than he did there.
Get your thoughts on Donny van der Beek's performance in a moment. We've played 16 minutes of the second half. 2-1, Manchester United trail. Goalkeeper's come a country mile to take that corner and was justified in doing so because it was a good clean catch from him, and he's bowled it out quickly for Visha, who makes his way forward. Pogba tracking him, long diagonal switch of play. Matic gets a left foot to it and steers it back for Edison Cavani, who covered a lot of ground to add numbers to the defensive cause there as BASAKSEHIR threatened to break quickly. And Bruno Fernandes will pick it up on the left. What did you make of Van der Beek tonight?
I liked him. It's been a difficult game for Man United, and sometimes you get dragged down by what's going on around you. I didn't think he did. I thought he did ever so well on the ball. Always took responsibility. Wanted the ball in tight situations, and certainly he put a shift in for the team.
Cavani on, Pogba on. Pogba, who played in the final of this competition in 2015, on for his 50th Champions League tie tonight. Edison Cavani's played a few more than that, 64 for him. He's got 35 goals in this competition, which is a very tidy return, but he's never played beyond the quarterfinals of the Champions League in his illustrious career. He does, though, start tonight in all European competitions on 49 goals. Ball is brought down in the midfield by Fernandes. Pogba's in there, wins it back, plays it back inside his own half, where Matic has got to cover a lot of ground in order to pick it up, but it was played by Pogba into a neutral part of the pitch, knowing that there was no chance that BASAKSEHIR would be able to get possession from there, and he stopped them driving through the midfield. And Pogba gets it now, finds Maguire. Maguire out to right-hand side for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. 18 minutes into the second half on TalkSport 2. With Derby Queen's Park Rangers to come. This one 2-1 to BASAKSEHIR. Pogba, long diagonal ball from him out towards the right hand side. Rashford volleying it back inside the penalty area straight away. Cavani leaning into his man looking for a penalty, nothing given. Pogba back for McTominay. McTominay does well. Steps on the ball, flicks it back inside, comes for Martial on the edge of the D, can't get himself into a shooting position. Rafael smuggles it away, and Martial was judged to have pushed him over. It's a free kick to BASAKSEHIR, not far outside their own penalty area. 64 on the clock, and United still trail 2-1.
Well, they're certainly controlling vast their proportion of the second half possession here, and they do look more threatening. But I think it's what's gone before is the problem, isn't it? They're 2-1 down. They've given the opposition something to hang on to, and from that point of view, they've got to be very careful they don't concede a third, because that would be all over then. So it's a difficult game from this moment on for Manchester United, but they are looking better now. Pogba's on, he's looking like he's got energy. McTominay has actually done well in the midfield. They look more secure there now, and the two centre halves look certainly more secure in terms of dealing with Demba Ba. But look, it's still not a great performance, because you want the perfect performance, don't you? If you're a manager and a supporter, it's way off that, but still plenty of time for them to get the job done. Look, if they get 3 points out of this, they go into the weekend certainly with things that they've got to solve, but certainly they'll be on more of a high.
And in terms of their Champions League aspirations, get 4 points out of the two games against BASAKSEHIR, and they'll almost certainly qualify. The ball on the left-hand side of the United penalty area, and there's calm defending from Harry Maguire, chested into the path of Henderson, who will come out and make the catch. Just joining us, Henderson in for David De Gea tonight. There's no suggestion it's anything more than routine rotation, and an opportunity to give Henderson his first taste of Champions League football, his third game for the club. He started both of the League Cup ties as well, and kept clean sheets in both of those, but no clean sheet for him tonight. And welcome to listeners joining us on Talk Sport. Manchester United the better side in this second half, which is 20 minutes old, but they still trail by 2-1 as they did at half time. And Barr from distance saw that Henderson was off his line, tried to chip him, but didn't get the ball more than a foot off the ground all the way through to the penalty area, and Henderson can make the save. Alvin Martin, the former England defenders, alongside me. Alvin, there have been changes aplenty. McTominay came on at half-time, which saw Matic replace Twanzebe in the defensive line, and they've just brought Pogba and Cavani on. It's a better Manchester United performance in this second half as they try and get themselves back into the game.
Yeah, but it's a performance that's trying to repair the damage of the first half, and it hasn't been able to do that up to now. You do feel, though, if they get one, they've got enough in them, Manchester United, and certainly the effect it'll have on the opposition in terms of confidence and fragility, that they could actually go on and win the game. But they need one, and they need one fairly soon, don't they?
Tarouch has possession for BASAKSEHIR. he's given it away as he just flagged one out towards the left-hand side for Visha. Attacking opportunities have been few and far between in the second half for BASAKSEHIR, but it's just a question of containment. Manchester United haven't forced Gunok, the BASAKSEHIR goalkeeper, into a difficult save up to this point, and that will be of the greatest concern.
Jim, look, this is what we're expecting the game to be like in terms of possession, and when they turn over the ball, not looking like they're going to concede a goal, Manchester United. But every time they turned the ball over in the first half, it looked like they were going to concede a goal. Two of the worst badly defended goals as well they did concede, and that's put them in trouble.
High ball inside the penalty area is brought under control by Martial, who tries to step his way through. Has he won a corner? Yes, he has, which is Manchester United's third of the game, and judging by the reaction of the BASAKSEHIR defenders, it was a debatable call. Who got the last touch there? Martial. He got the three touches immediately prior to it going over the line for what should have been a goal kick. You can understand the frustration of the BASAKSEHIR players. It will be a corner which will be taken on the United left. It's flighted in deep towards the far post and caught by Gunok. You can listen to the game, which continues on TalkSport 2. If you've got downloaded the TalkSport app, you can easily swipe between TalkSport and TalkSport 2. And on TalkSport, we'll keep you updated of any events of consequence that happen. The whole game continues on TalkSport 2, where it is BASAKSEHIR 2, Manchester United 1, with a quarter of the game remaining. Here's Bruno Fernandes. High ball in from here. Pogba at the far post, just beaten to it. It was a good header away by Bolingoli. He was hurt in the process. BASAKSEHIR hammer it clear, but they can't get out of their own half at the moment. And you actually sense that a Manchester United equaliser might not be too far away.
That's right. I think Pogba has just been given licence to go wherever he wants, and certainly he's getting himself in and around the edge of the penalty area. He's getting lots of ball. Cavani. These are the areas they've got to do better with Shaw.
Pogba to Shaw. Shaw back towards the edge of the penalty area now for Martial. Martial goes deeper still for Matic. Everyone apart from Demba Ba is back for BASAKSEHIR. Matic bringing it forward. Matic to Scott McTominay. McTominay to Bruno Fernandes has found a pocket of space, but there are orange shirts between Matic and now Cavani and goal. They're defending pretty deep. It's a well-disciplined, regimented defensive effort, this, from the Turkish champions, who've won it back inside their own penalty area, but they're trying to play out with Skirtle, and he's been able to flick it off Cavani and out of play for a goal kick. So 20 minutes for Manchester United to salvage something here, although, as we've been saying, at the risk of labouring the point, the first half defensive performance was so bad it doesn't really matter what happens from here, because it's a night that has seen more questions than answers.
Absolutely. If there's a top Champions League team playing in this round of games, if you watch them all, whenever they lose the ball, the first man closest to the ball gets after it straight away. And I have not seen Man United do that today. If they lose a ball, they stand and somebody half goes. So they don't make themselves uncomfortable to play for. They make it easy for the opposition. And although this has been a better performance in the second half, they still need to, get that right, Jim, because you actually win the ball back straight away. You're probably in a better position of creating something straight away.
20 minutes to go, and Bolingoli has it, the fullback on loan from Celtic, playing it through the midfield for Daniel Aleksic. And now down towards Raphael, who will just chip it over the halfway line. Shaw's controlled it. Shaw's ball forward. Martial into space. A good advantage play by the Italian referee as Pogba runs onto the loose ball, but he couldn't thread it through towards Rashford, and then as he lost balance, he beat the ground with frustration with the palm of his right hand. It was a good advantage played after the initial foul on Martial. Rare opportunity for the home side to work it forward now. Matic had the run of Bar covered on that occasion. Two former Chelsea teammates, and Henderson will be able to pick it up and roll it out for Matic again, finding McTominay. 2-1 to BASAKSEHIR, 71 minutes on the clock. The other game in this group kicks off at 8. It's Leipzig against PSG, and Danson, David Connolly will keep you updated with the score from that one. Martial towards the edge of the box. It's clear, out for Shaw. Shaw to McTominay. Out towards Aaron Wan-Bissaka now. Level the right-hand edge of the penalty area. Rashford. Bruno Fernandes. Back into the feet of Rashford. McTominay showing for the ball in the midfield, and he can turn in possession and just wave his foot over the top of the ball whilst deciding where it's going next. He's found Matic, who tries to squeeze it down the inside left channel, but it was telegraphed somewhat. Cavani will come back, and his pressure has done well to win it back from Turret. Shaw with the ball inside the penalty area, which is flicked high up in the air. Martial chases after it, but Epriano can clear. Out for Shaw. Shaw to Cavani. Cavani laying it back. Pogba's got it. Edge of the penalty area. Into the feet of Bruno Fernandes. Nice layout from him. This is some good stuff from United here. McTominay for Pogba. Pogba trying to get away from the first challenge. Can't beat a second. And Shaw will let it run out of play for a United throw.
Well, there's so many bodies now, so congested in the penalty area. It's going to take some real delicate interplay to be able to cut through it. At the moment, they're just lacking that final ball. They are asking questions, though, Man United.
Attacking options on the bench still. Greenwood and Igalo as Pogba wastes an opportunity there. I don't know whether he was going for the top right-hand corner or going for the top of Cavani's head, but he missed them both by some distance, and it's out of play for a goal kick.
I do like Cavani. You know, I think from what I've seen here as well, he is somebody that when he loses the ball, he gets after it straight away. We've seen him do some of his, his hardest work, his best work defensively, which is a sign of, a good sign, I think, for the rest of the season for Man United. But they need everyone to buy into that. If he actually squeezes and runs 30-40 yards to close somebody down, then he's also asking people behind him to follow him in and do the same.
Off the bench tonight, Edison Cavani, the Uruguayan, for a fourth successive game. At the weekend, he made his 700th appearance for club and country, and his record at the end of that game, 700 games, 400 goals, which is some return. And when he was really at the peak of his powers at Napoli, he was a joy to watch. I think at the age of 33, he probably think that his best years were behind him. His most prolific ones came not in Naples but in Paris, but he's certainly got something to offer still. The ball is played down for Shaw, who flicks it off at the nearest BASAKSEHIR player, Kavachi, for what has been given as a United throw, although it might have been a double ricochet into Shaw. Then it's play forward towards the edge of the box. It's knocked away again by Alexic, and one back by Maguire. Maguire to McTominay. Everybody from an outfield perspective inside BASAKSEHIR territory. Wan-Bissaka picks up a through ball down by the corner flag. Plays it off Bolingoli and out of play for a Manchester United throw. They're dominating possession now as the clock ticks towards the final 15 minutes. Good ball from McTominay. Wan-Bissaka, delivery in from him wasn't so good. Didn't get the elevation under it to try to get the near post. And Epriano could clear, and then Bolingoli will win a throw by knocking it off Wan-Bissaka. And it's a throw that will be taken on the BASAKSEHIR left. 15 minutes or so to go, and it remains 2-1 to the home team as it was at half-time.
They've dominated possession in the second half. They've dominated a fair proportion of it in the first half, and they've got both of their fullbacks in great positions on numerous occasions, Manchester United. But I still believe that's an area of their team that they need to improve on. The delivery from fullbacks now is so important.
And two more youngsters coming on. Anthony Fosu-Mensah for his Champions League debut, and Mason Greenwood, the 19-year-old, who is the youngest of 50 Manchester United appearances since Ryan Giggs. And that will be substitutions 4 and 5, and that will be the entire rotation made. It looks like Rashford and Wan-Bissaka are the two that are coming off, and that could be a double change made with forthcoming gigs in mind. Everton away coming up, of course, for Manchester United this weekend. There was a lengthy delay there. They got the message across to the players who were going to have to come off, but the numbers board for some reason wasn't working, and the fourth official was getting very irate about it. Fosu-Mensah has come on, and Greenwood has come on, and Wan-Bissaka and Rashford are the players that have been withdrawn. 15 to go. Manchester United looking for an equaliser, trailing 2-1. McTominay has the ball in the midfield. Back inside the centre circle for Matic. To Maguire. Fosu-Mensah's come on at right back. Straight swap over on that right hand side for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And Mason Greenwood is at the moment on the left hand side of the forward three. Martial's got it. Pogba trying to get in there. Greenwood's gone into a more central position now, putting the pressure on. Cavani similarly trying to win possession back, and it's a clever flick round the corner by Kavachi, and now an opportunity for Taruc to make his way forward towards the edge of the penalty area. third goal for Başakşehir, and Manchester United are in all kinds of bother. Here's Visha trying to provide it, and has he won a corner? No, he hasn't. Just came back off him after Fosu Mensah made the initial block and goes out of play for a goal kick. Reading 0, Preston 0 in the Championship still. Watford have just equalised at home to Stoke, and will confirm the score of that goal for you very shortly. Derby against Queen's Park Rangers to come, and also games taking place tonight at Birmingham, at Forest and at Rotherham, and we've got them all covered for you right here on TalkSport 2. Paul Pogba in possession. He goes to his right hand side for Maguire. Harry Maguire will just bring it forward, almost onto the toes of Scott McTominay. He laid it back. Pogba fires it out towards the right. Fosu Mensah has it now, wearing 24 for Manchester United. Back behind square for McTominay. McTominay turned around the corner for Bruno Fernandes, and then looked as though Greenwood was fouled. Just trying to turn his man. Looked up pleadingly at the referee, and nothing was given. Maguire's defensive header was a poor one. Başakşehir work it forward towards Barr, who is increasingly adept these days playing with his back to the direction of play. But Maguire's won it back from him. Barr stayed down. Bruno Fernandes with a long diagonal. Luke Shaw making a run down the left-hand side of the area, but it's spun away from him off the wet surface and gone out of play for a goal kick. 12 minutes to go, and United trail it 2-1 on TalkSport 2.
Well, they've dominated, I think, the last 15 minutes of play completely, but the disappointing thing is that they've not created anything, and that's from their point of view, not good enough. They've got a lot of quality out there, and one of the problems they had in the first half was the defensive fragility. That isn't there anymore, but the attacking dimension of Man United's game has been substandard.
Well, Demba Ba still isn't back on his feet after that challenge from Maguire, who just went in strongly. Robbie Barr just overextended in trying to win it back. He might not be able to continue. In the second half, possession has been as near as makes no difference, 30-70 in United's favour, but only one shot on target, and that's been the problem. One in the first half, one in this second half.
I think sometimes you've got so many attacking players on the pitch at the same time that they can get in each other's way. So, but look, that's too easy to say. I think that there are players there that should be able to fathom this out, should be able to work together to create moments and movements and extend a very well organised back line, I've got to say.
Well, Demba Ba can't continue, and they have replaced him with Fredrik Gulbrandsen, who is a Norwegian international striker. He's making his first appearance in the Champions League proper. He's due a goal. His last one came 23 games ago against Galatasaray last November. But we've already seen one Başakşehir striker score his first goal of the season tonight in Bar. Gulbrandsen will be hoping to follow suit, the big, tall Viking. Shaw making his way forward down the Manchester United left. He's got the ball in very deep towards the back post where Fosu Mensah was trying to arrive and get there ahead of Visha. He has been able to pick up the loose ball, but he's had to play it back to Matic inside the centre circle. There are 10 minutes to go, with Manchester United trailing by 2-1, as they've done since the 43-minute mark when Martial's header got them back in the game. McTominay for Shaw. The score of that Watford goal at home to Stoke, incidentally, the former Manchester United player Tom Cleverley, and it's 1-1 there, and also 1-1 in the other Champions League game, with Lazio equalising in the final 10 minutes in Russia against Zenit. Pogba and Martial both ended up on the deck, so too Raphael. Play goes on as the three of them rather gingerly pick each other up. Gulbrandsen with a nice moment of control, and he's got the better as well of Matic, and the angle was tight for a shot which may well have been going wide, but Maguire got in the way to block it, and this is the first corner for Başakşehir, coming 9 minutes from time.
Well, he's done well, Gulbrandsen, but really the centre half, as he's playing in the second half, Matic should do better there. That should be Man United's ball, and they should be actually forging another attack, but not so. They've got to defend a corner now. And no doubt about it, when you look at the the potential winners of the Champions League this year, the big hitters, Bayern, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Barca, PSG, you don't put Man United in that group, and that must be so disappointing for Manchester United fans at the moment looking at this team.
Well, they've only reached one Champions League quarter-final in the last 6 seasons, which tells its own story. The corner taken short, whacked inside the penalty area by Visha, controlled by Pogba, and Maguire will be able to bring it away. haven't reached the semi-finals of the competition since they got to the final 10 seasons ago. And if you looked at, I know it's easy to pine for days gone by, and football evolves and changes, and no club can have long periods of dominance. That goes without saying. But if you look at the first 10 years of this century, and the 5 years that preceded that, for United to go 10 years without getting to a Champions League semi-final would have been utterly unthinkable. But it could come to pass. If they don't get there this year, then it will be 10 successive seasons without reaching the Final Four.
I think the thing here as well is, it's a tremendously difficult job, but they have backed him. I think he has been backed, Solskjaer, so he's got personnel out there, spent big money, and it's a combination. He's got to be able to coach a team to know its job, to be together, to have the desire to win games, to find solutions as they've got to in this game. And at this moment in time, you look at, if you're a board member, you start to think, well, are we making the amount of progress that we expect to make with the investment that we have made? And I've got to say, at this moment in time, when you look at this performance, Jim, this has been really disappointing. It's no good performing against two teams prior to this in the Champions League, and then coming here and performing like this, and then looking at the game on Saturday. I'm trying to make a case of defending Solskjaer, because I really do want to see him do a decent job. But you look at tonight, you think this is like the bad old days again.
Matic has moved forward into midfield, but Fosu Mensah has just dropped in, I think, to centre half now. Playing on the left of the two centre halves alongside Maguire. Matic in a more advanced role in midfield has possession and goes back now for Fosu Mensah. Manchester United trying to do everything they can to be as attacking as they can with 6.5 minutes to go. They, I think, probably correctly judge that there's not an awful lot of threat left to come back the other way, but now they've really got to turn the screw. Shaw's ball inside the penalty area is headed away. It was a very spirited final stage to the game against Leipzig last week. United need something similar today. Ball is clear from the BASAKSEHIR penalty area. Bounces once and then twice and then over the line and out of play for a United throw inside their own half, which Fosu Mensah races across the tape, goes back for Henderson. 6 minutes left.
Even Fernandes, what a great player Fernandes is. Even he has not been anywhere to be seen. They haven't been able to get the ball to him. He's not been able to have a great effect on the game, and he's a top class player. But the amount of possession that they've had, you would have thought we'd have been talking about 4 or 5 instances where he's created or scored or created chances for his teammates. Not so.
Bruno Fernandes' ball inside the penalty area is easily headed away. Epereanu got it clear. Greenwood tries to make something happen. Fernandes off balance, stuck out a right foot to a ball that bounced slightly behind him and couldn't hook it over the top, and now they'll be able to break at the other end with Gulbrandsen, and this time the pace of Fosu Mensah does what Matic couldn't do to Bar in the first half, and he got back goal side from a disadvantageous position. But again, it was risky from Manchester United. Here's Fernandes playing it forward at the other end. That was blocked, it came back, hit him on the hand, play goes on. Matic back for Maguire, 5 to go. United trailing by 2-1. Shaw has it. Shaw played into the feet of Martial. Martial back towards Luke Shaw. You can kind of understand United's defensive positioning a little bit more now with the state of the game than you could when it was just an abject horror show in the first half of the first goal. As the ball is worked inside the area, Greenwood trying to bring it down on the edge of the penalty area, and he's overrun it, and it goes out of play for a goal kick, and then Rafael goes down and might need treatment inside the penalty area. But it was a good strong run from Gulbrandsen. Fosu Mensah had enough in the tank to come back and get goal side and knock it away.
I remember seeing a young player when I was playing get in the wrong position, and his pace got him out of trouble, and he thought he'd done well. I went over to him, and he was playing centre half alongside me at the time, and I remember, that's the wrong position. He went, well, I still got there. I said, no, you were in the wrong position. Somebody as quick as you will get in. His name was Paul Ince. And
how did he do?
He did all right in the end as a midfielder.
The ball is cleared, 4 to go. Manchester United trail by 2-1. Cavani with a nice little layoff. But Manchester United, you feel, are just trying to bulldoze their way through an orange brick wall at the moment and not able to do it. Another change is going to be made in a moment by BASAKSEHIR, and it's the defensive-minded midfielder Topal who will be coming on, vastly experienced international. And Shaw's given another free kick away as he's fouled at Taruch. All of a sudden, they're only 3.5 minutes plus stoppage time to go. It's going to be a huge amount of time to be added on. And United are fast running out of time. Now, Mehmet Topal will come on. He lost to Manchester United in Europe in the past with both Valencia and Fenerbahce. A man who's won more than 80 caps for Turkey. And he's just fresh but aging legs coming on for the final few moments to replace Özcan. A straight swap in the defensive pivot position in the midfield.
I'm just looking at this Manchester United team, Jim, and I'm trying to figure out who's performed well tonight. You know, who's an 8 out of 10 for Manchester United. I am really struggling. I don't think he's off the field now, but Van der Beek is probably the best player. But I can't think of another player that gets anywhere near 8 out of 10 tonight.
BASAKSEHIR in possession, 2.5 to go. Maybe 4 minutes to be added on. That'll be the maximum. Could be 3. Pogba. United 2-1 down. Pogba laying it back for Fosu Mensah. You with TalkSport 2. Where Derby against Queen's Park Rangers follows us. Right at the end of this game, we'll be straight to the East Midlands. Fernandes working wide towards the Manchester United left. Shaw's ball inside the penalty area is headed away. Your chance to react, incidentally, to this Manchester United display on the sports bar. 08717 223344. It's over on TalkSport from 10 o'clock tonight. Bruno Fernandes, high ball inside the box. Maguire is up there now, heads it down, but away from Cavani and Martial. He claiming that it brushed somebody's arm on the way through. Briano stands with his shoulders hunched and his arms down by his side to protest his innocence. And certainly the referee didn't see anything untoward. I think he just got his left arm out of the way as he went through to the goalkeeper. But it's 2-1 and Manchester United, you sense now, whereas at times in the second half it felt as though they were going to be able to get themselves back into the game, you sense they won't be able to from here. Here's Bruno Fernandes playing it for. 90 seconds to go and Martial's been upended there by Skirtle, and that's a yellow card.
Well, you know, we said that they were still capable of winning the game at the start of the second half, but they needed an early goal, didn't they? And that hasn't come, and it hasn't looked likely to. You know, normally you'd see 1 or 2 chances somewhere along the line, even if you force the opposition into making mistakes. You know, never mind creating anything yourself, but you know, it's been nondescript in terms of creation in the second half.
Still just the 1 attempt on target in the second half, and that's an indictment as well as the defensive problems that United exhibited in the first period. Another change will be made by the home side. Kovacic is coming off, and he's going to be replaced by the Cape Verde international Carlos Ponk, who's a centre half. So it's a midfielder off and another centre half on, just trying to see the game out. 30 seconds of normal time remaining. Well, certainly will be 4 minutes to be added on now. Still time for United, but they're leaving it really late. Free kick, swung in from the left-hand side by Shaw. First contact on so many of those set pieces has come from an orange shirt. Did so again. Fosu Mensah picking up the loose ball much deeper. Bruno Fernandes working wide. He's Shaw again as we tick into stoppage time here on TalkSport 2. Manchester United trailing by 2-1. Just waiting for confirmation of how many extra minutes are being added as Matic has the ball, and it is only 3. High ball played forward towards the edge of the area. Cavani going up for it, nods it on. Maguire, who's forward as an auxiliary striker, can't get there. Cleared out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Manchester United left. And make no bones about it, if United find an equaliser from here, that is only the most cosmetic exercise in terms of the performance tonight. It will paper over the cracks and nothing more. This has been a really poor display. BASAKSEHIR trying to bring it away with Rafael. Pogba's won it back. Pogba back for Bruno Fernandes. Right-footed ball forward from him. Maguire going up for it. It's headed away. Will it go out of play for a corner? Shaw trying to make that happen, and then he was barreled into as he was just trying to shepherd the ball down towards the corner flag, and Touré just steamed into him from distance and upended him. And so it's going to be a free kick right on the corner quadrant. Actually doesn't have any material effect whatsoever. That was going out of play for a corner and will be a free kick from exactly the same place. Luke Shaw will take it. Shaw's ball inside the penalty area, headed on by Matic, back in from Maguire, flicked away and somehow cleared off the line. Did it go over the line? No, it's a corner. And welcome to listeners on TalkSport as Manchester United were inches away from a stoppage time equaliser. Right at the end of the game. A corner that BASAKSEHIR couldn't deal with. And it came off Maguire at the far post, nodded down. It would have been an own goal from Topal, and it was cleared off the line by Epriano. And now there's pushing and shoving going on inside the penalty area, and the referee will go across and calm that down. United trailing 2-1. As we go to the final minute of stoppage time, it's a short corner towards the penalty spot, heading down and away, and Martial couldn't get a touch on it. Goes out of play for a goal kick. And Alvin Martin, that will just about be that.
Well, it hurts me to say that they've got certainly more dangerous look about them when they go on Route 1 Manchester United, rather than trying to pass with creativity and trickery. They haven't looked like scoring that way, but they've just got the ball in now to some of their big men, Maguire, Matic, and they're looking for second ball.
Well, we are in the last minute of stoppage time, but it's going to be elongated by an injury to one of the BASAKSEHIR players inside his own penalty area. But by the time this goal kick is taken, there's probably only about 45 seconds left to play. We're just seeing a replay of the clearance off the line. Part of the ball was on the line, none of it was over the line. The decision absolutely correct. The technology worked. BASAKSEHIR to an extent getting away with it, but they will feel that over the game as a whole, with the way that Manchester United have played, they deserve what will be their first ever victory in this competition. McTominay, high ball forward from him, too long for Cavani, through into the hands of the goalkeeper, who will waste as many seconds as he thinks he can get away with. Comes to the edge of the box, bounces the ball once and then twice, and then prepares to launch it upfield. Headed back by McTominay at the back for Manchester United. Through the midfield from Topal. Back from McTominay again. United need to get the ball down. They need to get it forward very quickly. Time very much against them here. Pogba's given it away. Gulbrandsen trying to bulldoze his way through. Can't do so. United win it back with Matic. We played the 3 minutes. We've almost played 4. Down it comes from Martial. Lovely turn on the United left. But then there's a free kick given for a foul by Martial on Raphael. And there's no way that Manchester United are going to be able to have time to equalise now.
Looking down at Solskjaer, Jim, he must be pondering his post-match interview, because it's going to be really hard, I think, for him to defend this performance.
Free kick is taken. And that's the last touch of the night. A famous victory for Istanbul BASAKSEHIR. Arguably the most famous single win in the club's history. But Manchester United shot themselves in the foot. The first goal they conceded was ludicrous. And as they found it hard to defend, so Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will find it hard to defend this performance. And in so many ways, all the good work of the victory in Parc des Princes and at home to Leipzig is undone. This is a night when Manchester United feel as though they've taken 2 or 3 pretty hefty steps backwards. They are still top of the group, and they are still favourites to progress through the group stages and into the last 16. But it was a performance that asked so many more questions than it delivered answers. The defending in the first half, utterly shambolic. And although Anthony Martial halved the deficit and got them back within 1, they then couldn't build in the second half, in which they hardly registered a single shot on target. And when you consider that this Manchester United side beat Leipzig 5-0 only a week ago, what a difference a week can make. That is as poor a Manchester United performance in Europe as we've seen for a long, long time. And they've been beaten in Istanbul by BASAKSEHIR by 2-1.
Jim, thank you very much. Alvin, really poor. It's going to be interesting to hear what Solskjaer is going to say in his press conference. And in 3 weeks' time, they have to beat this team from Turkey.
Well, I wouldn't back against them doing that, but they will need a performance that is far in excess of the quality one that they gave here, because it was a shambles from start to finish. It really was. There were spells of the game where they dominate possession, but the game's not about just dominating possession. It's about desire, it's about intelligence, it's about togetherness, it's about in-game mentality. And all of those aspects weren't there for Man United. It really, I remember when me and Jim used to do a lot of commentate together. We'd go all over the world doing Champions League, Europa League, Premier League. We'd get back to the hotel afterwards and we'd mark the players, that we'd seen, 1 to 10, as all the papers used to. And you know what? I said to him on the commentary there, Russ, I can't think of a Manchester United player that was more than a 5, apart from Van der Beek. There wasn't one. And when you get that sort of scenario, usually you end up losing the game.
Yeah, and they did. Alvin, great to have you with us again. Thank you very much. Former England international, TalkSport 2 and TalkSport regular. Alvin Martin there, very disappointed with Manchester United. They've been beaten in Istanbul tonight by 2-1, and they were very, very poor. Right, second live commentary of the evening. We're in the Championship, Pride Park. About 5 minutes into the game, Derby against QPR. Commentary from David Connolly and Ian Danter.
Thank you, Russ. 4 minutes gone here at Pride Park. Goalless. We just had a half chance for Derby County. Kamil Jozwiak down the right-hand side of the area. Got a shot in from a tight angle that was blocked by Semi Dieng in the QPR goal. I'll run you through the lineups in just a minute. Derby playing in their traditional first-choice colours of white shirts, black shorts, white socks, and QPR in their change strip tonight of red shirts, black shorts, black socks. And Derby are attacking the north stand away to our left in this first half, as David Connolly and I sit in the Toyota West stand here at Pride Park. And it's Graham Shinney, who was outstanding in the 1-1 draw against Bournemouth on Saturday, who strokes it out to Craig Forsyth. One of 2 changes made by Philip Cocu tonight for Derby. Shinney again up to the edge of the area, offside flag goes up against Martin Waghorn, who puts the ball into the net. But Derby showing some early promise here on TalkSport 2. Good evening, David Connolly.
Good evening. Yeah, I mean, obviously Tom Lawrence had a little strike at goal just before we came on, and that time lovely through ball actually from Shinney. Looked like it was going to run straight into the path of Lawrence, who ran in behind Rooney, but then he took it off his toes. Rooney was offside, opportunity missed, but a good start here from the home team.
So as you just heard, Istanbul, BASAKSEHIR beating Manchester United 2-1. A couple of half times in the early games in the Championship. Watford 1, Stoke 1. Stephen Fletcher for Stoke, Tom Cleverley's equaliser for Watford, and Reading 0, Preston 0 as a half time score at the Medeski. Now here is QPR coming forward with Todd Kane for the first time down the right hand side, and Albert Adoma looking to get his way past Tom Lawrence on this near touchline, and it's put out of play for a QPR throw that Adoma's going to leave for Todd Kane to take. Once of the Chelsea youth setup, of course, Todd Kane.
And we should say as well, Derby have changed shape, haven't they, Dance?
Yes, from the 3 centre-halves that they've been employing for the past few weeks. They've gone back to the formation they had at the start of the campaign, 4-2-3-1. I'll run you through the lineups in just a moment when the ball next goes out of play, but Adoma has put some lovely skilling down the right hand side, crosses for Lyndon Dykes. Oh, it's kept off the line. A brilliant save by David Marshall. Lyndon Dykes felt certain he'd given QPR an early lead from a pinpoint cross from Adoma, but David Marshall improvised a save right on the goal line to keep it goalless.
Yeah, it's a brilliant save, but I've got to say Dykes should be scoring. I mean, we spoke before the game, didn't we, about their lack of goals. Certainly last season they've lost so many of them now, but I don't think we'll get a better chance than that.
Kane puts the ball in. Dykes again, he's offside. It'll be a free kick to Derby. So let me run you through the